Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, your master of mechanical mayhem, X7, the host of Xenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. Today is Thursday. That is live action day. And since we finished up with the Green Hornet, almost, with the series, but check out Shaolin Saturday and see what you think of the slight revival in 1974. Be that as it may, we are starting a new series, and we are going to review the very cool and somewhat more unknown Robot Detective, or Robot Dokeji K, as it's called in Japanese. Robot Dokeji, yeah, but his name is K, so a lot of times we add the K to it. Robot Detective. And it was created by Shotaro Ishinomori. It ran from April 5th 1973 to September 27th, 1973 for a whopping 26 episodes. And these are the first four that we'll be reviewing, so you can just extrapolate when they aired. And it stars, where are we? Let's get down here. It stars Shisei Nakamura as the voice of K. He's got a couple of 3 or 4 suit actors because he's just a robot, and you never see his face as his face. It also stars Jiro Chiba as Tsuyoshi Shinjo, Kaku Takashina as Daizo Shiba, and then more people, and we'll get into this as we go along. So, having said all of that, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, especially if you've seen this show and what you think about it. It is a forerunner to what would become the Metal Heroes, except that those guys are generally people in like Iron Man in costumes, and this guy's a robot. And they also say Kikaida is also one of the Metal Heroes' early predecessors, but Kikaida is an android, meaning a synthetic human. Keiji is a robot, meaning a mechanical human-ish, and we'll talk about that as the case goes on. So, having said all that, let's roll, Kay.
人間の仕業とは思えない奇怪な密室殺人が発生した。それは恐るべきロボットレンタル会社バドーのロボットによる犯罪の最初の事件だった。完全と悪のロボットに立ち向かうのは特別科学捜査室のロボット刑事 K、 そして芝新庄の両刑事である。次回より始まる新番組ロボット刑事バドーの殺人セールスマンにご期待ください。
Okay, our first episode starts out with a bang here. Well, not really with a bang, but it's a two-parter essentially. And we have a criminal getting released from prison after doing his time, and his partners have cheated on him. Of course, they're using all his money. It's a billion yen, or a lot of money. So Bad shows up, or Bado as they're called in Japanese, but killer rental contract. So we meet. So our first episode, they went all out for this one. There's no kids in it at all, and it's pretty serious. Although it's a little undone by the effects, but it's 1970. What did I say? 73. You did see the trailer there, which is a lot of fun. It was by Shinseki, or the music's by Shinseki Kikuchi, who wrote all the songs. The theme was sung by Ichiro Mizuki, as was the ending theme. Okay. All of the first episodes are going to take a little longer simply because we got to get through stuff. So there is Jiro Chiba, who is playing Tsuyoshi Shinjo, the junior cop, too. And, that's Okazaki. The bad guy has signed a contract with this one. He's going to kill him. He does. They can't figure out how it happened. Then they meet Kay here. Now, Pops there is Daizo Shiba, also called Shiba the Fierce. right there, who does not like robots. We know what inevitably that his mind is going to change because he becomes a valued partner, but so far he doesn't like him. Kay's hearing and vision is above normal. He's got uh, enhancements. We're not told where he came from and why the officers just accept this robot on the force with no qualms. But Sheba doesn't. Sheba the Fierce doesn't like him. There's the Kay's car, which is called the Joker, interestingly enough. And he confronts Wakaman. I think that's his name. The subtitlers, this is a fan sub with Hinotori, but Hinotori fan subs and another group. Just a wonderful job. Look at how they subtitled all kinds of things, which you don't always get from professional subbers. Unfortunately, we may never get this released, legitimately, but I'd buy. I mean, make a nice little disc. That is Sheba's daughter Nami, the older, and we meet Yumi as well, who is younger, who's surprised by a robot at her door. There they are, and they give their father a fair ration of grief in a loving way. He doesn't want to get in the car, but he does anyway. So, and here is Tsushi's older brother, Keitaro Shinjo, who's played by Jiro Chiba's older brother, Shinichi Chiba, who we know as the Street Fighter Sonny Chiba. And they really went all out because this is some star power here because the Street Fighter was a huge hit, I believe, by this time. Well, anyway, it was his action club, the Japan Action Club that does all the stunts and fights. And Jiro's changed, probably trained by his older brother. I don't know if they ever did a buddy show, but they should have because they've got a really good chemistry there. And now he's a lawyer. So this is the only time in the series we see him are these first 2 episodes. And the chief tells Sheba, the Fierce, that he has to cooperate with the manager of the Special Forensics Division, NK. He's got to cooperate with him, and to support him. And it's a direct command, so he doesn't like it. He's a rough cop that plays by his own rules. Not in Japan, he doesn't. Well, he sort of does, but. And now we meet Hell's Ear, who is also who goes by Hell's Ear is his nickname. He doesn't particularly care for it. Jihei Jigoku, which hell is hell. We always thought it meant hell, but his first name is Jihei. But he goes by Hell's Ear. He's an informant, and he'll show up throughout the he'll show up throughout the whole show because he knows what's going on. That hat, Kay is very dapper when he's not in complete robot form. That hat almost never comes off his head. And now the fight is on. Kay's eyes turn red when he turns into robot form. His eyes also show emotions, yellow and blue, maybe green. We'll find out. And there's a big old fight. And then this strange other giant robot shows up that he calls Mother. And so, yeah. And this is our second. I meant to take this out, but I forgot. And there's the Joker. Now we're at episode 2. So a slight recap of what's going on. Wakaman. Waka, waka, waka. The witnesses are 0. Mother's really well done, but it's a mystery as to why she's there and everything. And I'm not even sure 100% how this plays out. I've watched the entire series once all the way through, and I don't remember all the details. But he threatens to turn Robot Detective into scrap heap, but Kay blows him up, sends him to the bottom of the ocean floor in millions of pieces. And here's our next guy who gets killed, Mr. Date. But he can't figure out how, but he lives long enough to give him a code and gets arrested because nobody saw the other robot. In fact, both Shinjo and Sheba don't believe there's another robot. But they got him out of jail anyway because, and they figure out the code, the 1 billion yen. See, when he gets sad or emotional, his eyes turn blue. Kurata is the villain there, and he's about to meet his end because he didn't pay bad their half. And you know why? He's greedy people that always does them in. So there is, yeah. Unfortunately, it's like I said, it's a little undone. The seriousness overall is a little undone by the effects. But once again, it's 1973, and kids are watching, and this is a fierce show. Speaking of fierce, there's a lot of death in these first two episodes. But Kitaro shows back up, which is just nice to see because he's just, and they blast at each other, or actually Kuroda tries to kill him, and Joker to the rescue. How often do you get to say that? And Kay's going to take him on while they capture the other guy who's got, and this guy's got, so the girls are intrigued by Kay and ask him to wait inside, but he says, "I'll just wait outside." And Hellseer is drinking his sake, but has some information, and he's crying drunk. And he should have given him the money. There, finally, this is Kitaro's last appearance. That's such a brother thing to do in real life as well as on television. And so Kay says not going to happen, and he blows it up. The helicopter and the billion yen. So nobody gets it. And the final fight is on. Kaboom! He uses the destruction cannon is his final move at this point in time, I believe. Now the case is closed. Self-exploded. Yeah, apparently he can lie. I don't think he's bound by the three laws of robotics, Asimov's three laws of robotics. But they want to go for a drink. There's a lot of drinking in here too, a lot of sake and who knows what else. Kurata's in danger, and then he gets killed. Just who is bad? We don't see who kills him. All right, so now we've got Takeshi and his dad. Takeshi's just out of school because they're doing something, and he thought he'd take a break at lunch and just leaves. You could do these things in the 70s, but he seems to be a little young. He's taking apart an old television, which sounds like trouble as well. And Jiriki Man shows up, who's got powers of, I don't know why he's got a Z on there, but plus and minus, probably ground zero maybe, but he's essentially Magneto, or Graviton in robot form. And he zaps his dad. Joker shows up. And now the case of the crazy timepieces begins. The fight is on, and Jiriki Man can walk up walls because he's magnetic. Yeah, some action shots here. JAC just excelled at shooting scenes, fight scenes in a wide variety of places. I mean, they tried really hard not to show the same fight scene in the same place. Like, if you'll notice in the 80s, especially late 80s, early 90s, Sentai and Kamen Rider, they all ended up fighting in that same gravel quarry or valley. We all knew it. It was the Bronson Canyon of Sentai or Tokusatsu at that point in time. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it was these people. They probably paid Toei to advertise their products and let you fight on it. See, once again, they've translated the sign, surgery, obstetrics, and gynecology. So his dad's in there. He feels terrible. He wants to help. Yeah. Off he goes to get the next guy. Killer magnetic beam. Even the bad guys announce what they're about to shoot with. Why he didn't use it on a robot, another robot, is beyond me. So he's talking about him, and there they go. So there's a plot, and here's the boss voice anyway. I don't recall if we ever meet the boss, but we'll find out. And Jiriki Ben, so Kay enjoys it, eating, and it makes him happy. Nice yellow eyes. Once again, Hellseer is here, tells him what's going on. There's several chase scenes. I mean, it's a good little 2-part episode. Or actually, we're in the 3rd part. But the whole series flows nicely. I wish they wouldn't have shot so many fight scenes in dark, because it's really hard, especially the quality of my copies. I'm going to try to upgrade them, but we'll see how it goes. And so he can hold, Jiriku Man can hold the Joker back on the ground, but when he's off the ground, he just, kaboom! And Mr. Kodai's behind everything. And that's the inside of K, who can, actually, he's using his infravision and super hearing to get into the case there. There's a bad murder contract. And he says, nope, now we're going to be this. And off goes K. The watches go crazy. The top blows up. The fight is on. And once again, we can't see too much of it because it's at night in the dark. And now think about to the Green Hornet, where they shot day for night, and it was not very good. But they put Kato and the Green Hornet mostly in dark colors, so you couldn't hardly see anything. At least they have this well lit. This is his supercharging, and he blows. I don't know if he magnetizes him, but he blows him up. And Takeshi is so happy his dad's recovered. And then they don't know where Kei is, but he's calling out to his mother. And Kei has human emotions. So we learn that. Now we're on to episode 4. They're against that drunk wall, which does show up in a lot of scenes with two men, men walking by drunk, two men walking by drunk. You can't really see it again. But here's our murderous villain. There's the wall. He kills one guy, frames his subordinate, and the assassin vanished into the wall. It's kind of a literal translation there, but Chameleon Man of bad. So he's got a what looks like a teleporter and a cloaking device. But Kei can use his infrared scope, or infravision as I just called it, but gets slammed by he intercepts a shot that was aimed for old Jiro or Tsuyoshi there, but it kind of rattles his brain for a minute, and he needs to get settled. And Junichi is sent by his mom to collect his father, the policeman, saying, "You've been out too long." So the poor schlub here is telling Shiba that it was an android or a robot that killed his boss, but they've already gone onto it. So and Jiro Tsuyoshi, puts up quite a fight there, but you can see the Chameleon Man can fade out, if you will. Now he's calling him a mechanical rascal instead of a doll or anything, so he's already softening. Sake tastes bad when you're next to him. And Kei's there writing poetry, and the girls want to read it. And Yumi grabs it and starts reading it, and I think that's not the worst. He's just getting his stuff out. Kei's also very embarrassed about that. So once again, Junichi gets confronted by Chameleon Man and goes and tells his dad. You can see him fading in. Fado in, but he's not going into Yusha Raiden, which is, I'm sorry, probably a series I'll never review because I just didn't think it was as great as a lot of people do. But I've learned not to say that too out loud too often, because don't badmouth what the fans love. Jeez. I'm not looking at any short-lived science fiction series from the early aughts. Or maybe, I don't know. I don't even know. Anyway, but I digress. I check and see how far we are into this. Oh, okay. So there he is. Junichi's dead. Shoots him, but fortunately finds our heroes. And Kei gives him an enziguri. Just kicks him right to the back. Step up enziguri. 1973. For anybody who thought that was invented in the 90s. I just like this logo that's on Kei's on the Joker. I'm not 100% sure why or what it's supposed to be. A speedy animal. It doesn't look like a cat or a dog. I guess kind of a dog. Maybe it's a wolf. But there it is, flying away. It's kind of a clunky little... it's not a clunky car, but it's not as streamlined as to be as cool as it could have. It's no Batmobile. It's not even the GP7, which is a little clunky as well. But so he's ready to pay him, but Yoshi is already got blackmail and shows it to him, which is kind of dumb. And our final fight is on for this episode 4. Nice, and it's nice. It's outside. It's well shot. I bet they had sand all over them. Boot to the head, and Chameleon Man gets his licks in. Tsuyoshi tags him, so this guy actually lives apparently, which is surprising. Tsuyoshi shoots the prism of Chameleon Man, and then the destruction gun, boom! He blows up real good, and everyone's happy. Congratulations! And so, even though I didn't want that odd post, he's drinking his sake there, which I have to say, hot sake is quite tasty. And once again, that mechanical rascal who's talking to his mother because he needs revived. So there she is. He's some, basic effects. And we get the narration. The show is narrated by Keiichi Noda. So we get a little more there, and it's to be continued. So there is our, let's go back here and stop at to be continued, and we'll show you at least the teaser for the second episode, right? This is what ends every episode, in case you think that it was not a work of fiction.
Bado が送ったカイロボットテナガマンによって第2の殺人が行われた。ロボット刑事 K は消えた10億円を追い、ヘリコプター上でテナガマンと対決する。次回ロボット刑事、目撃者はゼロにご期待ください。
All right, my fellow agents, that is our first look at the first 4 episodes of Robot Detective. I quite enjoy it. I'm really enjoying watching it again because I apparently didn't pay a lot of attention the last time. But until our next assignment, I really like this title card, this ending card here. Until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off and phasing out. One of those two things.